Fleet Farm presents John Gillespie's Waters and Woods. Fleet Farm, the ultimate fishing headquarters.
Welcome to John Gillespie's Waters and Woods. We're heading up to Baraga in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan.
Hey, hey, John Gillespie!
Just a big, beautiful fish.
Oh, is that awesome? Holy moly! Oh my God! Look at the size of that walleye, Danny! Look at the size of that fish. Yes, folks, I got my buddy Ron Johnson with me today, who fishes the Bassmaster Tour across the United States, and you fish for Baitmate. But each year you come from Arizona to visit us, and you and I make a deal. One trip we fish the UP, where you have fished all your life, and on the next trip we fish the Bay of Green Bay for walleyes. But we're in the UP right now near Baraga, Michigan, and there's just a ton of water up here, good water.
This Baraga area all the way on over to down to Crystal Falls and all the way clear over to Marquette is just loaded with small little gems like this, you know, where people can come on out, catch walleye, smallmouth, pike, muskie, just about everything.
And you never see another boat hardly.
No, that's one of the beauties of it, you know. I've even been up here on holiday weekends, you know, where you got to fight the traffic a lot of times in a lot of lakes. You can come up here, a lot of times there's one or two boats up here, you have the whole lake to yourself. And once again, I mean, if you can pick up fishing regulations on Michigan, come up here, it's littered with lakes, and you know, just look at the lakes. They usually give you a legend of all the fish that are available, and usually we come up pretty good.
Well, we got our buddy with us today, Brett Jolly, who had a day off. He drove up. We got Blake. We'll catch some fish, right?
I'm 100% confident we're going to catch some fish.
All right. Hey, folks, we'll show what we're using and how we're using it. All of that coming up right after this.
You can't choose the weather, but you can choose to dress for it. Introducing Blackfish Performance Wear for the ultimate sun protection and cooling comfort. Using chemical-free cooling technology, our Shade and Eclipse series is designed with unique fabric to wick moisture away, as well as create pockets for air to keep you cool. Whether on the boat or on the dock, choose Blackfish, because you can choose the weather. Blackfishgear.com.
Folks, when I head out to fish, I always stock up on my favorite Baitmate fish attractants. Dale, I just put that Baitmate on, man. Baitmate offers a complete line of fish attractants and convenient spray bottles for every angler and every species of fish. They've got your bait covered. I also have the newest Baitmate delivery system in my boat, Baitmate Ultra Live Game Fish Dip. Simply flip open the lid and dip your bait for even application every time, and it's ideal for frequent casting. I just dipped that in the Baitmate, you know that? Improve your chances of catching fish with Baitmate fish attractants. It just makes sense.
The all-new Yamaha Wolverine X2. Purpose-built for exploring tight technical terrain. And boasting next-level versatility. No other side-by-side delivers this level of proven off-road performance. The all-new Wolverine X2 from Yamaha.
Hey, welcome back, folks. As I mentioned, we're up in Baraga, Michigan, which is in the UP north of Crystal Falls. And the first thing you do on a strange lake like this, you just drive around and you look for weeds this time of year, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Most of your fish up here are going to relate to the weeds.
So you work the weed line, cast plastics, jerk minnows, grubs, that type of thing, and...
Correct. Yeah, I tend to find that getting right in the weeds or those weed edges this time of year are where you're going to find most of your fish.
Well, Ron, you're going to be the first to connect here. Look at it's a walleye to start our day. There we go, buddy.
Yeah, nice.
Hold them up. Nice fish. And like we said, we drove around and found a weed bed, and you're just keeping the boat on the edge of the weeds?
Yeah, sitting right on the edge of the weeds in about 12 to 16 feet of water is a real distinct weed edge there. I'm throwing this Kalin's jerk minnow and a green shiner up there on a 1/4 inch and just snapping it, and you know, it'll get stuck on the weeds, but stay in the weeds. You want to pop it off, John, and usually on that fall you'll feel that tick right on through that braid and floor right to this lure.
Is that 2 in a row for you?
It is, man, a walleye snatcher.
Yeah, that's cool. And you don't even bring any live bait, huh, Ron?
I never use live bait up here. You don't have to. I mean, I'm a artificial lure guy anyway, as you know, with bass, so I like to keep it simple, and I think you can cover a lot more area, and you know, I like to look for those aggressive fish, and soft plastics seem to do the trick.
Well, finally the back of the boat's gonna get on the board here. And ooh, we got ourselves a, you know, none of these walleyes are big, but I'll tell you what, folks, when you're talking about the middle of August, this is certainly a fun thing to catch in shallow water, you know, and this isn't available throughout Wisconsin like this, and the UP is just so neat to come up here, and you don't see any other boats. And Ron, can you name a few of the lakes that are between Crystal Falls and Baraga that people can try?
There's Twin Lakes up here, which is a bunch of different lakes. You have Roland Lake, you've got Gibson Lake, there's Parrot Lake, or Parent Lake, I should say. So there are a lot of lakes up here where somebody can come on up.
There you go.
Nice one.
4 in a row. Hey, Jolly,
Wow.
turn around. Did you try the Baitmate?
I just put it on, so hopefully I can catch one now. Ron was hiding it from me.
No, that is Jolly. You were telling me that Baitmate, when you're trout fishing, is a necessity.
Oh yeah, for the trout and salmon, I mean, it's a night and day difference putting the Baitmate on. It's awesome.
Finally!
I got one too, Blake. I got one too. 2 at a time here. Oh, whoa. Well, get yours in. Get yours in. Ron, this is a
Blake's
blast,
got a
buddy.
nice smallmouth. Check this out.
Yeah.
Oh, smallmouth
Nice job,
bassaroonie
Blake.
there.
Nice job. Mine's a little bigger.
Well, and mine's only about a 14-inch walleye, but look at the build on that smallmouth.
Honestly, and you never know what you're gonna catch with that jerk minnow.
No, that's what's fun, and especially in the weeds. And we've
Yeah.
been bitten off by a couple of pike already, too.
Yeah.
I'll throw that walleye back, and you're going to throw that, but that is really a pretty bass there, Blake.
Always a fun fight with the
Yeah,
bass.
good job.
Thank you.
That was interesting, folks. I cast it out. That bait never hit the bottom. That fish hit on the drop. Here he is. There we go. Not a bad walleye. But you see how they T-bone that bait? That means they're hungry when they T-bone it like that. That's a classic walleye hit right there. 2 casts in a row. Boy, you got us on a gem of a lake here, buddy. Here he is. That's 2 casts in a row, folks. And this is just the perfect eating size. And Ron, maybe you can show the folks how you're working that jig. You just cast out, and how do you do it?
The most important thing is when you cast on out, let the bait sink to the bottom. Once it hits the bottom, you know, I'll use 2 different retrieves. I'll either keep the rod tip at about a 45-degree angle, and I'll just give it a quick little snap. They call it snap jigging, real quick erratic snaps, or just let it sit on the bottom. I'll kind of drag it and just maybe move the rod like 2 or 3 inches at a time, kicking up a little bit of dirt on the bottom.
Blake saw that hit.
Yeah.
Your line actually jumped there.
Yeah, it jumped. You know, holy
Ooh,
cow,
a
we got some
smallmouth
air.
bassaroo here
It's a big
coming
old
in.
smallmouth, guys.
And they're mixed in right with the walleyes, huh?
Yeah, you get in these weeds here, and you know, we catch some smallmouth like this beauty right here. You get the walleye, you get the pike and the rock bass. So you never know, you get a mixed bag, but he hit this right on the fall, John.
One thing I wanted to ask you, you know, I've switched to that Seaguar line a couple of years ago, and you guys on the Pro Bass Tour love it, don't you?
You know what, Seaguar is by far the best line. Most of the guys out there are using a Seaguar. I've been using it for years. You know, I'm using light tackle here with a spinning, but I back everything with a Seaguar Smackdown 20-pound braid, and I put that to a 10-pound InvizX. A lot of guys ask me why I use that light line, but I'll tell you what, the importance of that light line, you have less resistance, John, and you're able to really allow that lure to look as natural as possible when it's in the line. And I'll tell you, this stuff's incredibly strong. You're never gonna lose fish like this.
Folks, I can't tell you how much fun this is. It really, really is. And I love these Jason Mitchell rods. They're so nice for this type of jig. And here he comes. That's a pretty nice walleye right there, anywhere you go. And Ron, do you ever get big ones here? Or are they all kind of this like 16 to 20 inch stuff?
Yeah, you know what, John? Majority of your fish you're going to find up here are going to be that good eating size that we've been catching. You will run into an occasional 4 to 6 pounder, but that's not the norm in these lakes. A lot of them are smaller, shallower lakes, but you will run into some big ones.
The next cast. Ooh, this one's putting up a little battle. Okay. There we go. Look at now. Look, you want to see how he ate that, folks? Look at that. And I think that if I'm not wrong, Ron, when they eat it like that, and move away right away, that means there's a lot of fish around, right?
All right, I casted right where you casted.
Ron, but that means there's a lot of fish around when they hit like that, right? Here you go, Blake.
Yeah, when you find them in a school,
It's a small guy,
like
but
you guys have back-to-back, slow down, there's usually another group of them with it.
Well, believe it or not, Blake, that fish is almost 15 inches long. And, you know, we talk about selective harvest all the time. And if you're going to keep a limit of walleyes, make sure they're 15. But that is actually the perfect eating size, isn't it?
yeah, it's, you know, there's a lot of them in here.
Yeah, there are.
Yeah.
Well, Dad said what?
Fast fishing.
Cast there and boom.
Yep.
Folks, breaking news from Fleet Farm. Take a look at these prices. $3.99 for a Husky Jerk, $4.99 for a Rip and Wrap. These are unheard of prices this week only at Fleet Farm.
We were fishing the lakes of Baraga, Michigan, a 6-hour drive from Milwaukee, 7 hours from Chicago, and 6 hours from Minneapolis.
Excellent. Oh, there's a good one. Awesome.
Beautiful fish.
Look at how he ate that
He
too.
ate that Google Eye jig.
This is the Google Eye. It's available in a live bait series and then a long hook shank series. And what we did is we took a glass rattle and built it into the middle of the round jig head and just bouncing it. It hits the bottom, that glass rattle's rattling and it's sending off vibration in this dirty water in this river, and that's the result right there.
This one's coming home with me.
Fleet Farm has everything you need for every season of life. From tending the vegetable garden season to planting 100 acres of crops season. Fleet Farm is your one-stop shop. Whether it's strawberry jam season, cook your walleye season, or his first set of wheels season. Fleet Farm is built for every season. Fleet Farm, built for real life.
Double, double. Here comes one on the left by Ron. And here in Brett Jolly, my buddy Brett Jolly. Hey, you know, Jolly, you guide on the bay all the time, and you happen to have a day off, and you're going to take Ron and I fishing next week on the bay.
Yep.
But it's a nice little deal up here in the UP.
Oh, it's beautiful up here. I mean, it's just some of the coolest looking country around. And
your wife is from Escanaba, and she's always told you how pretty this area is.
Yeah, she keeps trying to talk me into coming camping up here. I think we'll go now.
Again, not monster walleyes, but when you're catching them one after another like this, and you know, Ron, you've got lakes up here too that you were telling me about. We're on the ones that you like for walleye and bass, but you got lakes up here that have crappies and pike too, right?
Yeah, John, I mean, when you're up here, a lot of these same lakes that we're actually walleye fishing today have a good population of perch, crappie, and other fish in here, and I've done quite well. I've had 100 fish days of crappie up here too, and once again, you're the only guy on the water catching all the fish.
Oh, I felt that tick. There was a tick. Thought I missed it.
Oh, we got another smallmouth bassarini coming in here. We're gonna need the net there for Blake. We're gonna need the net.
Ooh.
And oh, there you go.
Nice.
Hey, there you go, Blake. You're out there, Blake. I'm gonna come up here with you, and we're gonna hold that bass up. And you know, we woke up this morning.
It was
and
very chilly.
Lake Superior isn't too far away, and it was cold.
Yeah.
But Blackfish makes, you know, great summer clothing, but they make clothing for all different weather conditions.
Yep.
And what are these called?
The soft shell. And you know what's perfect about these, which I love, is when it's windy and cold, it protects us from the wind and keeps us warm.
Yeah, I love mine.
And they're comfortable.
Yeah, and they got a nice little kind of felt deal going here.
Yep.
And that just keeps you really warm because it's cold and damp today.
Yep.
And what do they say about Blackfish?
You can't choose the weather.
Right, but you can choose the bass. That's
Yeah.
a beauty. Second cast in a row here. Here he comes. Ooh, there's a decent walleye. Whoa. You're catching so many, you don't even worry about getting the net. And cookie cutters, I mean, if I measured that, I'll bet you that's 15 and a half inches. Look at that. And pretty coloring on these too. The jerk minnow. Look at the Jollo. All right, Jollerini. Am I a good guide today, Jolly?
You're doing a great job, John.
Well, let's see what you got. Oh, that's got a little bit of, there he is.
That's a nice walleye.
That's a nice walleye. Yeah, they're not as big as the Bay of Green Bay.
No, but these are great eating fish. I wish I could catch more like this on the bay. These are awesome.
Jolly, hey, you got going there, buddy. You got going good. Let's see here, another
nice eating-sized walleye. It's just, they're all this nice size.
What do you like about that? What do you like about that Kalin jerk minnow?
It's, you know, they catch fish everywhere. I use them on the Wisconsin River. I use them on the Bay of Green Bay, and I just catch a ton of walleyes on them. You know, the way it darts and pops around, especially with that Kalin's darter head jig on there,
and
just entices
real
fish.
Soft rubber. Too.
Yeah. There's so much action to it. It's just a great bait.
Hey, Ron, I'll tell you, you know, another good walleye, but you know, we're on kind of close to Lake Superior here, and folks come up here, bring some heavy clothing. I mean, even in August, right?
The weather can change very unpredictably. I mean, a couple days ago it was almost 90 degrees, and now we're looking at what, maybe 57 to 63 degrees for a high.
Oh, we got a smallmouth bassaroo coming in. You know, you take a bass guy walleye fishing, and he ends up catching bass. Is there something to that? Grab me the net there, will you, Brett?
I just finally had to do it, John, because, you know, we filmed a lot of shows together, and it's funny, we've never done a real bass show yet, so I got to get them in when I can.
And, you know, when you guys are fishing on the tournament trail, do you guys do smallmouth too, or is it all largemouth?
Smallmouth or largemouth, and as a matter of fact, we just came off of Lake Champlain up in New York, and that is a smallmouth fishery, and all these northern lakes from, you know, Minnesota, Wisconsin, all the Great Lakes, all the way over to East Coast are just phenomenal.
Look at Captain Brett back there. He just had a sandwich, sitting in my chair there, catching walleyes. And is this your first day off in a long time?
In quite a while, yeah. This is pretty nice. It's relaxing up here. Enjoying myself in Michigan.
Oh, I thought it was weeds, and you were like, is that a fish?
Yeah, well, weeds don't kind of take your line away there, Blake.
Nope.
No, there you go.
It's a teenser, but.
Yep. And no, that's
cast
not,
after cast.
But you know what? That is not you say that's a teenser. I bet you that thing's pretty close to 15, if not. You got one back there, Joe? He just missed one. No, but Blake, we coming up to the UP is pretty special, isn't it? I mean, can you believe how there's nobody up here?
I know, it's crazy. It's so beautiful, calm, and great fishing.
No, I agree, Blake. And there's just, when you look around and you see nobody here, and you know, one thing, Ron, that you and I were talking, it's not difficult to fish 2 or 3 different lakes in a day. They're so close together, right?
Yeah, they're small enough that, you know, I'll often put in one lake, and, you know, like we're doing today, we're bouncing around, hitting the different weed patches, and you can go to the next lake in 5 minutes. You can hit 2-3 lakes in a day, which I do a lot.
Johnsonvilles are quite the tradition in Wisconsin, but you live in Arizona, and they're quite the tradition out there.
Yeah, Johnsonville's a pretty popular brand out there. Everything's fantastic, whether you're at a tailgate party, at a football game, or just hanging out in the backyard. Johnsonville all the way.
Well, I got a treat for you today. These are Johnsonville bacon and cheddar grillers, and they're 100% prime pork, and we add our spices, and then we also add Wisconsin cheddar cheese and bacon, and they only take about 10 minutes on the grill. They come frozen, and they are really easy to make.
And they taste fantastic too.
Aren't those great? They are wonderful.
Awesome.
Yeah, look for Johnsonville bacon and cheddar grillers, folks, in your freezer section at your grocer today. Folks, running a big 2-stroke engine this year, I've really gotten to rely on the AMSOIL HP Marine. This really makes my engine run better, doesn't it, Len?
It does. We do a lot of testing behind the scenes on these particular products, and a couple of the big things to think about is wear protection and detergency. We make sure that there's nothing building up inside that engine. We're also protecting it from wear, because these are the things you don't look at until something happens. So we make sure it doesn't.
And a lot less smoke, right?
Right. That's something that we actually do. We look at trying to produce less smoke. That's one of the major things.
And for more information on both the HP 2-stroke and 4-stroke Marine, you can go to
AMSOIL.com.
Let us make this absolutely clear. The days of wasted casts and missed opportunities are over. New Mega Imaging takes fishing into the megahertz range for the first time, because higher frequency sonar means higher frequency of this. Without a doubt, it's the most detailed picture of the world below ever. And it's only from Humminbird.
You're in the captain's chair back there. That hook set was pretty impressive, Jolly. You thought it was a muskie, huh?
Yeah, that's all I've been fishing lately. This is a great vacation day. Thanks, John.
No, my pleasure. And, you know, again, we didn't even bring any live bait.
No, you don't need it. Jerk Minnow does the job.
Ooh, the sun's coming out too, Blake. Flip them in there. Nicely done. The sun's coming out, Blake.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll get a little higher than 55 degrees.
Oh, sorry, Ryan.
Oh, did you hit your bestie in the head with a fish?
There you go. And you know what? These fish are so warm. The water's so warm compared to the air. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's like you got to warm your hands up by catching a fish.
Yeah.
Hey, Brett, some pretty exciting news. On the Amsoil website, starting today live, we have a Midwest fishing report, and I want to thank you for taking part, but it's really a neat deal, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, it's great. Guys from all over the Midwest giving up-to-date fishing reports and letting everybody know what's going on.
And what's really cool, all these guys are experts. They're either guides or professional fishermen, North, South Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and they give some really good information, not only on lakes, but techniques.
Oh yeah, you know, we talked just the other day and I was on the water fishing and, you know, gave you all the tips of what's going on, and that's what all the guys are doing.
And it's easy to get to this, and we're going to be updating this every month, but the first month's fishing report is available now, folks, at amsoil.com/MFR. Folks, look at the size of that rock bass. I mean, look at that rock bass.
That's a big rock bass anywhere.
And you know, Brett, Jolly, and I were talking before that people don't think these are good to eat. And you clean these and put them with some bluegills, and they're really good, you know
yeah,
that?
You guys were saying you can't even tell the difference. I personally never ate one.
But look at the size of that Rocky. Hey, Jolly, you want that one?
Oh yeah, put her in the live well.
Well, Ron, I'll tell you what, this has been an absolute blast today. And ooh, here he comes. Look at this guy. Not bad. And you know what's fun though too, and part of a challenge, like I said earlier, is coming without live bait and figuring out what types of baits and retrieves and everything else they want.
All right.
Hey, there you go.
Yes.
Ooh,
what is that?
Yeah, nice one. That's a nice walleye. Oh, that's one of the bigger ones of the day. Don't lose them. Flip them in, Blake. there you are. Hey, that's a nice walleye right there.
I always cast right after where you did.
Well, you know, that's the thing, you know, and what we're doing is working along a weed edge here, folks.
Lots of weeds.
And when you get one, Blake, you always say, put the spot lock on.
Yep. They're always by the weeds today, for sure.
Yeah, that's a gorgeous walleye,
one.
isn't it? Hey, you know, I want to mention, you know, how you and I met each other through a Baitmate, of course. We're both sponsored by Baitmate. But folks, you know, we got a lot of folks that live in Wisconsin, Minnesota, North, South Dakota that go out to Arizona in the wintertime. And you guide out there regularly, right?
Yeah, I'm a full-time guide, usually in my off season when I'm not tournament fishing, and that usually goes from, you know, October all the way up until about April. So I get to meet a lot of people from Wisconsin. It's always good times.
Well, we got the website, how to get a hold of you, written on the screen right now. But you got, I was out there and caught an 11 pound bass with you?
You had one that was pretty close to 10. It was incredible, yes.
It's now time to announce this week's winners of the Mills Fleet Farm, John Gillespie's Waters and Woods 2018 Fishing Contest.
Shannon Galway of Downers Grove, Illinois, caught this 16-inch crappie on Eagle Lake on a jig and grub. Doug Petrie of West Bend caught this 31-inch walleye on Lake Erie on a crawler. Ken Mathwick of Land O'Lakes, Wisconsin, caught this gorgeous 52-inch tiger muskie in Vilas County on a bulldog. Alex Piotrowski of Green Bay caught this 37-inch catfish on the Fox River on a bullhead. And this week's kids winners are Cody Bleskin of Menominee Falls caught this 41-inch pike on Pewaukee on a shiner. And Caleb Wiggins of Lake in the Hills, Illinois, caught this 13-inch crappie on Lake of the Hills on a minnow.
Hey, Dad, what you doing next Saturday?
I'm really excited. Next Saturday, September 1st, Fleet Farm has built a beautiful brand new store in Oconomowoc, Wisconsin, and I am going to be there Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2. Come on down, we'll talk fishing. It'll be a lot of fun. And again, that's next Saturday.
September 1st in Oconomowoc, the new Fleet Farm.
And a flipperino. I don't know how many that is. I have no
We'll just put it in the a lot category.
Yeah, and yeah.
I mean, we've had to have 40, 50 of these today.
Yeah, unbelievable. And all on plastic.
All on plastics. I mean, this jerk minnow is so awesome on that darterhead. The way it bounces around in them weeds, it looks just like.
Does it work for largemouth too?
It catches everything.
Yeah.
I mean, the profile and that darterhead really gives it that erratic action. It looks like an injured, dying bait fish, and they hit it.
Well, maybe that's 60. You know, incredible fishing, buddy, you know. And we didn't move lakes today, but if we wanted to, we could go smallmouth fishing on another lake right now.
5 minutes.
Seriously, 5 minutes away?
5 minutes, and, you know, we have our pick of a couple
Why do you
lakes.
go back to Arizona?
Oh, man, the fishing there is pretty good, too.
Well, you can ice fish here.
Yeah, you guys can have that. I like the warm weather.
I'm Blake Gillespie here at Fleet Farm, the ultimate fishing headquarters. No matter what age, I will always love to panfish, and that's why I'm at Fleet Farm to grab some ultralight combos that are perfect for perch fishing. The ultralight combos at Fleet Farm delivers premium sensitivity with a lightweight feel. It's an easy way to get started pan fishing, and that's why I shop at Fleet Farm, because I know they'll have everything I need.
The future of boating is here. Now, get all the thrilling performance of an Evinrude E-Tech G2 in the new 150, 175, and 200 horsepower.
Bass fishing's fun, but half of these tournaments is like a boat race, trying to beat everybody down the lake. And with that Evinrude E-Tech G2, it's like driving a Corvette. That thing is passing everybody.
All the best-in-class torque of the Evinrude E-Tech G2 is now available from 150 to 300 horsepower.
This is a whole nother level. The G2 is awesome.
To learn more, visit evinrude.com.
If you fish, chances are you've used a mustad hook. That's all we use. Mark, get him in there. Army tank there, Dale. Oh, there is a big boy. I mean, I just can't believe this, folks. Oh, let's see him, buddy. Look at that. That 10 seconds, though, makes a big difference, buddy. Well, that one is a gorgeous fish. Is that pushing 3?
It's 3. We're going to weigh it.
Mustad, the world's largest manufacturer of fishing hooks. Get the point? We did. Whoa, there we go. Yeah, there we go. How's that, man? Hey, great time. I'm glad you showed us some of this stuff up in, how do you pronounce this? Baraga?
Baraga area. Yeah.
Baraga in the UP, and a wonderful time. And you're here for a couple of weeks, so Brett Charlie promised that he would take you on the Bay of Green Bay for walleyes in return for this day, okay?
Right.
So maybe not this week, but the next week we'll get you out there, okay?
Look forward to it.
Yeah, and folks, that is our show for today. Please join us next week. I don't know where we're going to fish yet. We'll find a place somewhere. Until then, I'm John Gillespie, hoping to see you enjoying John Gillespie's Waters and Woods.
Hey, John Gillespie. Hey, John Gillespie. Hey, John Gillespie.